here watching DocTales. A new adventure, you know it ain't no stopping. DocTales. Interviewing, commentary on your centerfold. DocTales. Storytelling, so tune in to every episode. My fresh cut amputated, don't chop the hands off the sample contaminant. Oh doctor, the flow sick, no vaccine. It's so proper, I come clean. The janitorial flow mop, but it go monster. It's Frankenstein, I take your rhyme, break it down with ultra beats. It's get the paper time, vaporize, whack MCs who don't cooperate. Pew 36, explosive space modulate, congregate. Colorful contrast, the podcast, my Big Bang Theory bomb, biggity bomb blast. Megatons, now they all brace for impact. Sawed off shotgun, can't take the kickback. This, that, real dope that they've been looking for. Questions, answers, content. Yeah, it's good to know that somebody bringing the latest and the greatest. My favorite, you know who coming with the entertainment? It's DocTales. Everybody, you know they out here watching DocTales. A new adventure, you know it ain't no stopping. DocTales. Interviewing, commentary on your centerfold. DocTales. Storytelling, so tune in to every episode.
Yo, what up? It is your boy Owen JJ Stone, aka O Doctor, and for today's purposes, you can throw Black Dirty in there too. Hello, Shannon. I heard you start a new YouTube channel. That is great. I might put you in the comments for some calm, relaxing feel, because some people are stressed out right now. I see you out there working, girl. Congrats. Good luck to you on your future show. Today, on this episode of DocTales, we're getting back in the groove with someone, usually people like friends that I like know very well. This is a guy who by the end of this show, we're going to be friends. I'm going to be lying, telling people he's my cousin, that we used to hang out back in the day. I'm going to be making up all kinds of stuff, and hopefully he'll back me up on it by the end of the show. His government name is William Thomas, I think the third. I'm pretty sure if I had that in my mindset from back in the day, I remember that for a little bit. He tried to go by the William, but we know my man as Trey Day. Trey Thomas, what up, brother?
Man, I'm fantastic, man. Can't complain, man. You know, just getting my little studio set up back again. You know, it's been down in Florida for a little bit, so it was good to get back up here and get everything set up again, man. You know, just working my wiring and lighting and making sure everything's plugged up and working, man. So, yeah, it's good to get back.
Yeah, and you're throwing in a little dual lifestyle down there with the warm weather. I hear you out here in these streets.
Yeah, man. It was cool.
I wouldn't have came back yet.
You know what, man? You know, I grew up in it, you know, so, you know, that because I'm originally from Florida, so it was good to go down there. I was working at IMG for a little bit, but it's good to get back up this way, man. You know, everybody always like, all right, I want to get away from the winters, but I missed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind the snow. You know, in Florida, everything's the same.
I like seasons. I'm a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
I appreciate seasons. Yeah, I mean, popping down to Florida is nice and all, but I'm not trying to deal with I lived in Florida for 4 years, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, I know Florida's great, but at the same time, enough is enough with the humidity. I'm gonna be all right. I don't need it.
Yeah. I had bought a Jeep when I first got down there. I had a Jeep Wrangler. I was riding around with the doors off, feet out the door, you know, just having a good time. It was cool.
Straight 1995 down there.
Yeah, I was all the way in.
You don't need to do. So
I had a beach cruiser. I was riding a beach cruiser in a Jeep.
The turn of the Mac was bumping in the background.
Yeah, man, just wide open, man. Just having a blast in Florida. Flip flops all the time, man. You know,
yeah, doing what it do. So, yeah. Are you the third or the second?
I'm the third. You know what? It's kind of funny. You know, I am the third. It's on my birth certificate as the third. But as my dad, you know, back then, you know, they just threw whatever on birth certificates. My dad found out that his dad was never a senior. You know what I'm saying? So my dad went by junior, and so once I came along, then I became the third. But after doing some stuff, he found his dad, and then, you know, found his stepmom and stuff, and found out that his dad was never William Wyatt Thomas. He was Wyatt Thomas. So really, I'm junior. But since it's the third on my birth certificate, then we go by Trey, and it just is what it is. It's too late now.
See, my dad's name is James Owen Stone, and he named me Owen J something else Stone, and he didn't want me to have the same name as him. So he changed my middle name. So now I just lie and tell everybody it's Owen JJ Stone because I tell people it's James, but I don't like the J name it is. So I put the JJ there so I can be different. Because that old naming thing when dad, especially back in the day, I don't know what's going on in like the 70s, 60s. I don't know what they was doing, brother. They was just out here willy-nilly, just like you said, just throwing names on stuff.
Yeah.
Just with it.
Whatever, just whatever. You know what? This is your child. What do you want to name? Just throw it on there. It's okay. Just go ahead.
And then you get to the league, and then you try to switch out from the Trey to William. That didn't work out for you because Trey Day sound too good, brother. Trey Day all day, every day.
Yeah. It was stuck for me. I did that more for my dad, just because he was going through a hard time at the time. So, I just went ahead and was like, you know what, man, just for this year, I'm just, just call me William. You know what I'm saying? Just because I wanted him to, as his son, he was going through some stuff. And, I wanted, and whenever my name was called on the TV, that he would hear his name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was more for him at the time. So it was cool. Yeah. I mean, it was fun, and I think that it meant a lot for him, for that. And then once that year was over with, then we went right back to what everybody was used to calling me, Trey.
Good. So you're a good son is what you're trying to tell me.
I'm trying, man. You know what I'm saying? I try. I have my moments.
And I'm sure you appreciated that. So for those who don't know, 12 years in the league, 3-time Pro Bowler, left tackle for my Philadelphia Eagles, our Philadelphia Eagles. Trey and I have never met in person. I've called Trey on all the shows that he's been on. He always takes my calls. He's one of the great ad readers on broadcast radio. I don't care what nobody say, Trey. Like every time you move from a different position to another location, they need to keep you on retainer to do ad reads. I myself might send you an ad or two to read for me. I'm not gonna pay you for it.
just do it on the strength because we family now.
That's what we got to do. But you kill it on ad reads, brother, because that's something I don't get to mention to you whenever we chopped it up on the radio calls. But yeah, you be having me crying half the time, and that's what an ad's supposed to do. Yeah. You're supposed to give somebody some information, make them want to understand about whatever the brand is, and also make them enjoy listening to the fact that I got to sell you this thing for the next 30 seconds because we got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Point that out to you, man. You always gave that little extra, and I appreciated it.
I appreciate that, man. It was when it came to the ad writing, it was kind of weird just because they gave me, first it was Blue Chew, and then they were like, all right, you know what? We want you to go as far as you can without getting kicked off the air. And I'm like, all right, then cool. So give me some information. And, we just ran with it. And then the next one was the Manscaped. And then, the Manscaped one was a lot of fun, just because, they were just like, look, just get creative, and just say whatever you want. Here are the bullet points and then just go with it from there. And then, I would come home and my wife would come home and sometimes I'd be in here listening to all this weird music that I'm going to use as my background. And, I did the song that one time and we did the Christmas song. And then, it was fun, man, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad everybody enjoyed those reads. It was cool.
I threw my little change in there. I got my Manscaped was back in the day. That was a 2.0. I got my crop preserver. I mean, I like all my stuff still rolling out here. So we're good.
Yeah, good.
So before I get into asking all the questions, I want to tell you that I got to see a lot of your games in person. I was friends with Thomas DePay. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, I was his like tech guy. You know what I mean? Like I would go over and set up his TV and all that kind of stuff and do all kinds of things for him. And he would always just, pay me and give me home game tickets. So every year he would give me like 6 games to go to. One, they're great seats. You get to sit with the family and all that kind of stuff. But I was there during y'all's prime, and it was just it was an honor to watch you guys play, honor to watch you play. So again, like once you started getting on the radio and I could call in and chop it up, I was like, hey, that's my guy, because obviously just being friendly with Thomas too, I knew a lot of background stuff about the team and what was going on. And thank goodness there were no podcasts back then because I'd have been spilling all the beans, brother. I'd have been.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we played in the era that we played in. Like we didn't come up in back then what it was. What was the social media back then?
It was MySpace. You had
MySpace. That was it. Yeah, you had the MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace. You had AOL chat. So I mean, the reach wasn't global. You know what I mean? No. Top 4, top 8. You know what I'm saying? So
camera phones weren't a thing back then. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy that I played in the era that I did.
Yeah, you got away with some stuff. You got away with some. So, tell me about grade school. What was your favorite class? What would you like doing in school besides sports?
You know what? I guess science was always like my favorite little favorite subject at the time. You know, science growing up when I was in elementary school. You know, just because you always had those little science projects. That we would always work on. And back then we had encyclopedias. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't Google and all of that wasn't the thing. You had to go get one of those encyclopedias that had the letters on the end of it. So they always had like little projects that were in there. So I would always find my little science project in this encyclopedia. Huh?
Did you have an encyclopedia in your home?
Oh yeah. We had the whole set.
Y'all was the ballers then, because I had to go to my aunt's house to get the encyclopedia. She had a closet that was just filled with encyclopedias, and have my cousins. We would go over to her house on the weekends, and use this because they take up so much space.
Yeah, I mean, because you got A through Z. You know what I'm saying? Like you got, there's a lot of information there. Yeah. With an encyclopedia. You know what I'm saying? So like we had because both of my parents were teachers. So they were big on, all right, we're gonna have some encyclopedias there. And so I was always working on my little science projects that I found in the back of encyclopedia or something like that. So I guess that was one of my favorite subjects coming up, in elementary. What's that? My mom taught job co-op at the high school that I ended up going to. She used to teach DCT, I guess that's what it was called back then. So it was kind of like she would help the kids get jobs while they were in school or whatever and move on and taught them like, what it takes to get a job. Yeah, saying job prep, So that's what she taught when I was in high school. And then my dad taught at a local prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Education is key. The mother of my child is a teacher. Oh, by the way, speaking of my kid, you always comment and tweet on stuff I post about my daughter. I appreciate it so much. She appreciates it. She be at school, pop it off like, y'all ain't got Eagles players. And then you out here talking about the clarinet. Now let's get into this clarinet thing.
Oh yeah, man. Talk to me.
You was running the band, huh?
Man. First chair clarinet. Yes. Respect my cliff. You know what I'm saying? Like my clarinet game was strong back then. Like I was in middle school, and they make you take band or something like that.
Yep. So that's how she got suckered into it. That's how I got into buying it, and then she ended up being good. And now I got to keep going on with it.
Yeah, well, like my mom played clarinet when she was in high school, so. Like when I was in band, they were like, all right, you know what? You need an instrument. My mom was like, oh, yeah, I got this clarinet back here. We can dust that off and go get you, we'll clean the mouthpiece, of course. And then we'll give you another reef or whatever it is, that the little wood piece that you put in there. And then you go ahead and have at it, because you can't be in band and play the recorder. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something different. You know what I'm saying? You have to have like a wood instrument. So, I started playing clarinet, man, and I was first chair, dude. You know what I'm saying?
8th grade Trey, what were we 5'11"?
Yeah, with a shag.
You know what I mean?
With a fro shag. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a little fro, kind of like a civil rights fro with a shag in the back. You know what I'm saying? Where it wasn't too aggressive of a fro, but it was a little compact fro with a shag, and then was out there playing first chair clarinet.
So all jokes aside, invite me to your home. I'll leave my phone in the car. You got to show me these pictures, brother.
Nah. And my mom would pull them out in a heartbeat. She was like, "Oh, look at all these pictures," because she has pictures all over the place.
I need to see it.
Man.
So, what other sports did you play besides football? Obviously, in high school and sports.
Coming up, I played a lot of soccer and basketball. I played a little baseball when I was in Little League, but once I got to high school, I was just more on football and basketball. My mom wanted me to go to Georgetown and play basketball, Coach Thompson and everything. But, my dad played football. Both of them went to FAM. So, that was just kind of like my connection to the game, just with watching my dad, going back and going to his college games whenever we would go back to FAM and all of that. It just stuck with me, and I just always had a draw to football over basketball. Basketball was just something I did just to kind of stay in shape in the off season. Really wasn't all that good at it. I was just, it was just something to do.
Yeah, and not for nothing. Nowadays, the one thing, because my daughter's an athlete, she plays everything. She's done soccer, she does MMA, jiu-jitsu, karate, wrestling now. It's wrestling season. And so many parents are, you're going to be a softball player. You're going to be a baseball player. And they're doing it all year round. And it doesn't make the kids well-rounded. It doesn't help them in the sport that you're trying to make them hyper-focused in. Because I feel as though you play other sports, basketball is going to challenge your mind in a different way, challenge your body in a different way, help keep your wind up, you know what I mean? Because you're running a lot more in more explosive manner. So I see a lot of these parents now that are just, oh, my kid's going to be Michael Jordan, and all they're doing is basketball. I'm like, bro, there's not that many Jordan. Okay?
Yeah, so, it's good to diversify, play some different sports. Like that's one of the things. I was down in IMG last year, and that's like, it's huge. I mean, it's a sporting school on a whole nother level. And you just saw a lot of these kids, they were only there for that one particular sport. Everything was based on all of their training, and everything was centered around that one particular sport. You rarely saw players that went on to play other sports in the off season, just because, number one, it costs so much.
Yes.
But then, when you're talking about, a guy, if you're paying $80,000-$90,000 a year, you like, hey man, I need you at that sport all year round. There is no trying to dabble in, go play soccer or do something else. I need you all about whatever sport that you're in.
Yeah. And again, the AAU basketball, I get it. Once you reach a certain level, that's what you're all in on. And same thing sometimes with baseball. But I mean, like, there's just so many parents that think that their kid is the one. And I'm like, you're burning these kids out. There's, there's a lot of talk about mental health now, but with kids, there's a lot of burnout, like, my daughter wants to play, like, softball is her favorite thing, but her team was a championship team last year. I'm like, bro, you're not going to play. I was like, how about this freshman year, you pick up golf or tennis, a sport you have never played. You can go and learn, you know what I mean? Instead of sitting the bench on a championship team. I get it, but you've been playing softball forever. Like, you're good. Like, you're good enough. Why don't you try something different for 1 year, and then next year as a sophomore, you go into softball, and you'll do that the next 3 years. And she's like, you're right. Let me try golf or something like that. I was like, look, you want to hang out with CEOs, they on the golf course. So
yeah. I wish I would have learned that game a lot earlier. Like, my youngest son he plays golf as well, and that's one of the things that coming back here, he's going to be able to get back into golf and playing football and golf. So that's kind of his thing. So yeah, golf is where it's at, man. I wish my game was better. I have all the equipment, you know what I'm saying? Like, I go out there, I look the part, but I'm going to have to apologize when I leave with all the divots that I leave out there on the course. I mean, sometimes they're pretty bad. I
look like Charles Barkley. That's all I'm going to say.
I got to smooth it out.
I got to figure something out, but I'm not good at it. So, at high school, how many proms did you get to?
I went to 2 proms. I went to a prom as a freshman to like a friend of the family. I don't know what was going on, but she asked me if I would, if I would accompany her to the prom as a freshman. So I went. She had a mustache, but she was cool though. You know what I'm saying? Really, really cool young lady. You know what I'm saying?
You got to go. Now I'm upset with you though, because how do we get from the freshman? And I assume the second one you're going to tell me is the senior.
Yeah, my senior year. Well, because my senior year is the one that I wanted to go to. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first one, I just kind of went as a favor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The junior, though, you could have went. You just was like, nah.
Nah, I wasn't about that my junior year. I was more about it my senior year. I went my senior year, and then that was it. And then got on out of there. So, yeah, man, prom was cool. You had a good time. Kept it safe, did the limo thing. Went to a little restaurant, thought we were doing something,
That's usually the case when you're pre-grown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You argue with your parents, like, let me just do something. And then they be like, sure, go do it. Then you get out, you're like, is this what we doing?
Yeah.
That's okay, cool. Yeah. Cool something, I guess. Yeah, it's something I talk to my kid about all the time. Like, you think that doing things is doing things? Like, all these little friends you got that are dating, they can't go nowhere. They ain't got no cars yet. Half of them ain't got a bicycle. Like, you ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? To think that you're doing something, you just relax.
Yeah, just relax, enjoy your time. Don't put all that extra stress on yourself.
Yeah, and just I say it every show. Just a record. I'm a 5 for 4 prom person.
Okay.
Same kind of thing. My freshman year, I went with a senior, and she was someone who could not get a date. She was a little rotund, and I didn't have any problem with it because she was super duper nice. And I got to go to a prom, and then I got addicted to getting dressed up and going to prom. So I went my sophomore year. And then I went with a senior. She was actually kind of cute, but she did not like me that much. She just thought that I was nice and funny, and she asked me to go. I don't know what happened, but hey, like I had to go. And then junior and senior, of course, I took mine. And then the senior year, I took a girl that was from another school, so I got to go to her prom too. I got to double dip. And my daughter is now a freshman, and she's trying to go 4 for 4. So I've ruined myself by telling her this story about how you old 4 for 4. Now she got people asking her to go to prom already. I'm like, whoa. Hey.
That's a little different now. You're seeing it from another angle now. You're like, whoa, wait a minute.
And the same thing we just got done saying about y'all ain't doing nothing. Yeah. The one thing is, okay, I'm gonna cut real quick into it. So you have kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 boys.
3 boys. Oh, so okay. So you're lucky. That this is perfect. You got 3 boys. You know what you do? You rent them a suit for $100. You maybe rent them a car. You give them a condom protection. You say, don't get in trouble. Don't go to jail. Don't hurt nobody. Don't hurt yourself. Make sure you take care of your date. Get home safe. That's it. $150 all in. You good. I got to do hair, nails, makeup, purse, dress, heels. And then I got to say, don't let nobody just come home safe. And luckily for me, my daughter is an assassin, so ain't nobody gonna put their hands on her unless she wants to. So at least I've raised her that way, where I know, she's out here on the wrestling team doing her thing. She walk around the school and people like nodding their head at her, like, all right, girl, I know you out here killing it. So but girls are expensive. That's the first thing. I can't afford 4 of these. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you got to get ready for it now because you shared the story, and now she's gonna go for 4.
I did. I messed it all up. So. In high school, were you a lover or a fighter? You getting any fights in high school when you was young?
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like we all grew up together, so we really didn't get into many fights like that. Most of our fights, back then, everybody puffed their chest out and you bump your chest a little bit, and then you're like, man, all right, let's go run around out here in the woods, man. Because most of the time, man, we were always running around in the woods, down there in Florida. So really ain't get into many fights. Really wasn't.
Where in Florida did you grow up?
I'm from DeLand, right outside of Daytona Beach.
Okay. Okay.
It's a small country town, man.
Yeah. Down there.
Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? You had a couple of rough cats, like the guys that I grew up with that would usually the rough cats grew up and went on to jail. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't anything it wasn't
school either. It's probably as soon as they got out of school and they started being on their own, and scuffles pop up for no reason, and then you're like, all right, well, like you said, go on to jail, go and cut it off, and that's what we do.
But saying growing up, I really wasn't into all that. Because just with playing sports, I did enough of the battling on the field and on the court. So as far as getting in fights and all that, I really wasn't into all that. And then I had a wild family, man. My uncles and aunts and all of them, man. I don't think cats really wanted to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because my aunts and uncles back home are well known in the area by both sides of the law. Don't
mess with the Thomases, boy. You know that's a Thomas.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the Thomases.
There was nothing. It was nothing for me to get off the school bus and back then, I didn't grow up in the projects, but I was always a block or 2 away from it. You know what I'm saying? So. Back in my hometown, the park that I grew up on a park that's now named after me, but it was always a couple blocks down from the project. So I would always get off the bus and they'd be like, man, your aunt was just up here in the project whooping somebody. So there was always something between my aunt and my uncles where they were always in the streets fighting, man. So they took care of all that for me, I guess, where I didn't even have to deal with all that.
So you were hood adjacent.
Yeah.
We got hold on, you ain't just gonna run by that your little story now. You tell the story, you just smooth right by what they done named the town out there, named the block out there. What's going on? What?
Yeah, but the park is named after me, man. I have a park down there in DeLand called Tra Thomas Park, man. So it's the park that I grew up on. It's right across the street from my old house, and it was something that my parents really got into, and they named the park after me, man. So it's a nice sized park. Is actually when I got drafted by the Eagles back in '98, they asked me if I wanted to come up to New York. I told them no, man, because Black Spring Break had just jumped off, and I don't know if y'all know about Black Spring Break and Freaknik.
Hey, that's the same reason.
Back in the day,
this is the same reason you still get these G's, boy. I know what you're doing.
Man, back in the day, you talking about wait a minute, go to New York, man, for what? Black Spring Break just jumped off. Now I'm right here at Black Spring Break. I got some money in my pocket. I just bought a new Benz. I'm not going to New York. Y'all can find me in Daytona. I'm gonna be in Daytona. And so like when I got drafted, we had a big party at the park, you know what I'm saying? And then it was always something I would go back to. And so they ended up naming the park after me.
That's cool. You got a park. For all the young Thundercats out there watching and listening, Google Freaknik, and then you'll understand why Uncle Trey was not worried about no New York City. Okay?
Yeah.
Google Freaknik, and then you'll understand what the man's saying. I ain't going nowhere. Okay?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
I'm good. I'm back home, man. Black Spring Break just jumped off. Nah, I'm good. I'm staying right here.
So when did you meet your wife?
I met my wife freshman year in college, man. You know, first class, History 101. You know, so first day in college, you know, we met, and we were always just really cool because she's on, like, her hometown is probably about 30 minutes from my hometown, so we would drive home a lot together. But we were always cool throughout college, and then, you know, once I got to the pros and stuff, you know, I went on and took my shot, man, and then there we go. You know, here we are now. We 22, 23 years married. We got 3 kids. You know, life is good.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Man, you got a park. You still back and forth, coast to coast, Key West, Key Largo, down there, Florida. The kids is good. The wife is good. Man, you know, so some people. That's why I said every day is a trade day. That sounds like a good thing you got going on over there, Trey.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What's the wife do?
Well, she owns a business. She owns our Pino's Palette in Cherry Hill. So we started this probably 5 years ago. So we have an art studio over in Cherry Hill called Pino's Palette, and she runs that, man. You know, that right there is a full-time gig, you know, and making sure that everything.
I've heard her business. I have a picture that I painted up here on the sideline right here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll put it up in the notes. It's a black Superman with a black other kind of Superman with an O logo because I'm infatuated myself and my last name. So okay. O, and then I got drunk at the end, so I was already pre-gaming for y'all. I couldn't finish the city, so I just did some outline stuff and put some dots on and called it a day because I spent so much time on the characters. I quit by the end of it. I was like, man, my arm hurting.
Yeah,
you know, but people love painting, sipping, and drinking and painting and drinking.
Absolutely, man. It's a lot of fun, man. That's what I do every day now. I get up in the morning, I head to the studio, do some stuff, hang out, try to help her out, do all the heavy lifting. You know, when I need to pick up canvases, set up the studio for whatever needs to happen, then I pop on a bottle of wine, pump me some paint, and I start throwing some paint on the canvas.
Trey Picasso.
Yeah, man. Just kind of relax and sit down, you know, enjoy myself, look out the window, paint a little bit, and, you know, have a good time.
Happy trees.
Happy trees. Happy trees.
I'm gonna get you that throwback fro so you can feel like you was back in the 80s. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get you fro. Next time you're out here painting, you throw that bad boy on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can get you a little get you a little desk fan. Let it blow in your hair.
let it flow and let it blow back.
Get that back when you're over there painting.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So let's talk about NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the most difficult terrorizing player you went up against that just annoyed you every time you had to go up against them?
Simeon Rice was the toughest guy that I had to deal with, you know, just because he was just such an awkward rusher. He made us change the way we played, you know, but hands down, he was probably one of the toughest ones that I had to get ready to deal with, you know. You know, he was just awkward, and he made us change the way we played, and but it was good, you know. I think it helped me throughout my career to kind of just because of how we had to deal with him and how he changed up our technique. It helped me out with a lot of the other guys that I had to deal with, the Dwight Freeney's, the Bruce Smiths and all of them. So I think that, you know, being able to go up against the Simeon and get beat on a 3-step drop a couple times, you know, it kind of hardens the skin a little bit, you know, and it makes you change your game. So I think going up against him really helped me throughout my career.
So one thing I appreciate about you is you're a very keep it real type of person. You're a very open and explanatory type person. So I don't remember how much of a time ago it was. You posted a video of you getting actually beat by a Simeon Rice, and you were like, "Man, I got roasted right here." Like you were just like you were describing how you got destroyed. And I'm looking at the video. I'm like, "What? It's Simeon Rice, brother." I mean, like you did the best you could. You ain't gonna stop all the time. Him no. I mean, I was like, because you were just very self-deprecating. Like, I got toasted right here. It happens for people. Like, not everybody. And I looked out like, well, of course not. It's Simeon Rice. And then so you say that because I saw the video and I was about to tell you, like, man, don't be down on yourself. Like, look who it was.
I know, man. But anytime I watch some of my old games, like I don't watch a lot of my old games just because I'm like, damn, because I look at it as through a coach's eye sometimes, and I'm like, man, I could have did a little bit better with that technique. I shouldn't have done that with my outside hand or whatever it is. So you start critiquing yourself a little too much. But yeah, man, I mean, Simeon Rice was tough, man. And that's why when I coach offensive linemen, like when coaching is always fun to me. But like I tell these kids, like anybody that I work with, like, look, what I'm telling you isn't. It's not something that I learned from a YouTube or a TED Talk or something like that. Everything that I'm teaching you has been put to the test. Now, it might work. It might not work. I might have to tweak some things to make it fit for you. But, this is battle tested, so and that's why I enjoyed the coaching aspect of it, just because of the experiences that I've had throughout the game.
And obviously nowhere on the level of you at all as far as a coaching mindset or an athlete, but it's very hard when you're trying to teach someone who's younger that fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a kid that has all the talent in the world. They have the strongest arm. They're the fastest, but they don't do the basic things. And then they get mad. And because I was like, dude, you don't have to hot dog all the time. You're already good. Like if you just did the basics, you would destroy everything. Like instead of having like 3 wow plays a game, you'd have a complete game of like, this kid dominated today. Mm-hmm. So it is hard when you're talking to a younger person and you're like, look, I don't know how much football you've watched, but these dudes aren't like jumping over people. Like the game is kind of still the same. As far as I'm concerned, there's hand fighting, there's positioning, there's looking at your opponent and seeing what frame that they're lined up in, and then trying to gauge the way that they come at you.
Yeah.
And then look for repeating patterns. So I would assume that everything you're teaching is something that could benefit someone, because the game obviously changes and there's things that change the game, but especially in the trenches, it's man on man. Sometimes you get help, sometimes you don't. And the basics are always going to be the basics.
Yeah, and that's the thing that that I spent a lot of time on when I was coaching. It's the fundamentals. I mean, it's because we got to build the foundation, and and it's going to get boring at times because we're going to do it over and over and over again, and we're going to go and watch it, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to go and watch it, and we're going to record it, and we're going to do it again, and it becomes a routine to the point that by the time the season's over, by the time we get to the tail end of the season, it's muscle memory, because that's what we're building on. Like there are times when you look at some of the pictures that I took, it's kind of funny because I look at some of the pictures that I have around my house, and I have like if I have a casual picture, whereas if it's me, Todd, and Jack in a picture, we're usually lined up as I'm tackle, Todd's guard, and Jack's the center. You know what I'm saying? So we just automatically get in that formation because you're used to being in that side. And it was to the point where at times, like if I would just stand and chilling, I would have my left foot back. You know what I'm saying? So little stuff like that starts to like carry over, and you just start building that muscle memory into what we're doing. So, a lot of it is building the foundation. Like even when I'm working with my son, and it's just like, look, man, if you don't get this down, we can't move on to something else. So I don't want you to, it's going to get boring. And you just understand that, look, we're trying to build something. But what you can't have is like, if you get beat, everybody's going to get beat. You know what I'm saying? You got to be all right with that. Let's keep grinding and just understand, all right, learn from it, and then we move on from there.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes because as adults, especially, I played sports, again, not the same level as you, but I mean, you forget sometimes the emotion of the failure that could really get in your head if somebody doesn't just shake you up. My daughter had a match the other night, and I mean, she got mollywopped, and nothing personal, but she's a girl, so she has her monthly and whatever, and she still goes and does what she needs to do. But she was like, I wasn't in my right mind. I didn't feel good about my situation. I was I was like, okay, that's cool. And I get it. You went out there and talked out, you did your thing, but I'm like, the whole team got whooped. Like your team only won 2 matches. Everybody else got dominated. Today's not the day for you to feel bad about yourself. I was like, the other days, sometimes you got your butt kicked. You come in and say, hey, you didn't go on the boundary. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. I was like, but today, don't be in here crying and boo-hooing about, you weren't. I was like, yeah, again, you did more than other people had to do to get out there. And yes, you wrestled a boy. And yes, he was stronger than you. So what? You get in the weight room, you work it out because you've beaten boys before, right? So ain't what it is. It's like, but just to get her out of the mindset of just getting down or something, like, everybody got beat today. Everybody loses.
Yeah.
Everybody loses.
Everybody's going to lose at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was your favorite memory of being an Eagle?
You know what? Getting drafted here, I think that was one of the just hugest moments, for me, just because, when you come out, and you come out of college and you go and you visit all these different teams and I went to Dallas, I went to Oakland. It was Oakland at the time. I went to, I went to the Rams. I went to Washington. And, and I was supposed to go to Seattle, I believe, afterwards, but then I canceled it after the Eagles trip. Just because once I got here, I came in, Ray Rose was the coach at the time, one of the only 19 Black coaches to ever be in the history of the NFL, which is ridiculous. Yeah. But that's a whole nother thing.
I'm about to get you on my sports show, too, because we can chop that up right now. That's a hot subject, but carry on.
But, so just when I got here, Juan Castillo took me out on the vet turf, and it was night. It was dark, you know what I'm saying? And, like, Juan was like, all right, hey, let's work some vertical sets. And, and he had me out there. I mean, I'm in street clothes. I had just put my suitcase down, and it was, and he had me out there in some jeans and a sweater out there doing vertical sets on the turf. And I'm like, man, you know what? If I'm going to be successful at this game, I need to come here, and it was I felt that strong about it that I canceled my trip to Seattle afterwards. I'm like, look, I have to go here. I have to go here. And I'm so glad that it worked out. When I got that call from the Eagles saying that they were going to draft me, man, that was it. And just knowing that I was going to be under Juan for the next several years really helped me throughout my career. And I think that just was one of the biggest moments, just coming here, and then after that, playing against the Bruce Smiths, playing against Derek Thomas, and all of these big names guys. I think some of the
all-time greats, bro. Like, again, I've always been an Eagles fan. Watched so many games with my dad, and a lot of the battles, like, where you would win, and like my dad was just that kind of guy. Like, he was all about the trends. He'd be like, look at that, look. And then other times where it's like, oh, you didn't get beat. There was a blitz there. In the trenches is where all the fun stuff goes down. Like, if you control the trenches, for or against, that's where it goes out from there. My dad did have that Madden mindset of, these are the guys you want to watch. He's like, wait, the bomb play is going to be there. They're going to replay that. But look at the linemen and what they're trying to do, especially like in the run game. He's like, watch how they're stunting. When they're breaking these big runs, look at these big dudes down the field. These are the biggest dudes, and they out here motoring. Like, so that definitely was for me fun to watch, because that's what I was pointed in the direction to watch. Also because I was a bigger kid too, so in his mind, that's why. Hey, you're fat. Watch the fat guys.
I like to call myself thick. You know what I'm saying? Definitely not fat. I'm thick. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. Been working out, dude. I've been working out, trying to get my keto on, man. I'm just trying to get in the keto zone right now, man. I need to put that named
after me, so I'm not fit yet. You know what I mean? I can go work out it. You know what I mean? I'll come swing up there with you, brother. But, so that's the thing that as a layman person, you sit there and you watch someone get drafted, and of course you're happy to be drafted because if you've played the sport and you've wanted to be in the professional league, like you've dreamed about it for years, and it's all you've ever wanted. And so many times you look at guys, you're like, oh, they're a bust. And I'm saying to myself, look at the environment they went to. Look at the team they went to. Look at the coaches they went to. Look at the players surrounding them that they went to. They might have been all world if they would have went to a different team. Yeah. So for you to go visit team after team after team after team, and if you're telling me that stepping on the field at the Vet, which is basically like rubbing your face against concrete, made you feel special, made you feel wanted, made you feel like this is my Disneyland. I've got to get there. I've got to go there. And then to come here, that's special. And that doesn't happen for everybody.
Yeah.
The epiphany, one, that you just realize like, wow, this is okay. It's not just NFL. This is my dream. It's my dream, but man, if I could get here,
yeah,
I could be something. So that's something a lot of people don't think about with a career, you know?
Yeah.
And that's with that kind of job. I tell people all the time, like, if you're miserable and if you're miserable and you're cutting grass, go cut grass in another company, because another company might treat you better. They might have a better structure, better work environment. If you love what you're doing and other people can offer you that same job, maybe you need to switch and try somewhere else, because it might be that company and not your dream of being a lineman or whatever it is you want to do. The work environment and the people there matter. And that is one thing I'll say in general about the Eagles. They've always had a diverse staff, and the effort has been made a lot in the past, especially about having different voices and different people come through. And it's been really good that I've seen for the NFL and just for Philadelphia in general, because Philadelphia had a bad reputation in the 60s and 70s of not being inclusive and not being welcoming to minorities coming in. Like, if you're on their team, they kind of root for you, but coming in, a lot of people didn't want to come play in Philadelphia because the way the fans were. So the tide turned and things changed, and the Eagles were at the forefront of a lot of the minorities and stuff that were coming into the league and getting an opportunity. So I'm glad that that's something that sparked joy in you and made you happy, that's the thing that you say sticks out to you. The first thing comes to your mind. That's awesome. It's impressive.
Yeah, man. It meant everything for me to come here and play on the wine.
Who is your favorite player that you played with?
You know what?
Road dog. Who's the buddy?
You know what? Like Todd Harriman's, you know, Jamal Jackson. Those are all guys that I really kicked away. Ike Reese, of course, because we came in together. Trot, we all came in together. You know, and then Hugh Douglas, because we were here a long time. You know, we have a son that's our kids are like a month apart. You know, so you know, those are the guys that I really ran with when I was here. Bobby Williams, you know, when he was here. So those were guys that I ran with.
It's good you listed off a bunch of names, because, again, I keep saying this because it's just it's impressive to me, because as I say, as a fan, you're looking at, man, these guys really like each other. These guys are family. These guys are friends. And again, just my little proximity, just hanging out with Thomas and listening to stories and things that were going on, I was like, man, like, all right. So, because you hear all the time, it's a fraternity, it's a brotherhood. There were so many Eagles that were together for such a long time in that core that you really, from what you're saying to him, what I've heard from him, like, it is like a brother. Like, dog, we've been here together for a good 7-8 years now. Yeah, we grew up together. We going through our prime. We going through the ups and downs, and you know, we definitely, when you started coming from the downs to the upswing. I mean, boy, that was a good run. And a good time to be alive.
Yeah, man. You know, we would always be over at Five House doing dinners. You know, it was always a good time, man. Supporting BT, come through the BT parties, go to the Javon Curse place to hang out, man. So it was like a family environment, man, where we just really hung around each other and enjoyed each other's company. It was always a good time.
Glad to hear it. Let me swing back to the kids real quick. So we got the youngest that's golf and football. What are the other two rats doing? What are the other
my middle one? He's playing basketball. He's down in IMG. He's playing on the post-grad basketball team right now, finishing up. So he'll be done later on this month. And then my oldest, he's in Central Florida.
Okay.
Yep.
What is he doing in Central Florida?
He's working right now. He has a couple kids, just doing his thing, man. So cause he's like 24, 25.
Oh, he's grown. He's out there living his
life. He's grown. Like he's over. That's over with now. Now you got kids. Go be a man.
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, I'm a granddad. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife always be messing with me. She like, hey, you gonna call your grandchildren? I'm like, whoa, wait. When did they become mine? We are married. You're a grandma too.
Trey Pop in the house.
Yeah. I tell him I want to be. I would like to be called El Padre.
Yeah, you got too many side names out here, Thickums McGee.
Yeah. I would like for you guys to call me El Padre. Thank you.
What the grandkids learning Spanish to feel more natural when it comes off their tongue, Yeah. So,
yeah, man.
Being a granddad's cool. Like it's funny because once you have children, it's the greatest thing in the world, right? Like your first child. Your wife has a child. You look at your wife. You love your wife 3 times more. You're like, you done had it down for 9 months. You put this thing out, having the baby's healthy. You look at her. You're like, this is amazing. When my daughter was born, they put the baby in my hand. I gave the baby to her mom. I walked down the hallway and I looked at my dad and I literally started crying. I was like, I can't believe you love me this much. Like I always knew you loved me.
Mm-hmm.
You love your dad. I always knew you loved me. I can't believe you love me that much. Like I'm sitting here in my mind thinking, if aliens came down at this moment, I would kill half of them myself. Don't you come nowhere near this hospital. Like the feeling of having a child is just so great. And then when mine's not grown up yet, but she's halfway there and you just feel the pride. So when yours goes off, gets his job and then has his kids, you look at it like, man, like the moment, the joy, the happiness, the El Padre in you. I know your chest was bursting out of control. And you're just like, this is great.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Especially when they're doing things the right way, going about it the right way. That's all you want. You raise your kids for them to go off and be successful and do their own thing and be able to stand on their own too. And he's doing it.
I'm giving your wife credit, like 92% of that project. I'm sure she held.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. She runs a tight ship, man. I mean, kids call me like, "Hey, Dad, I need help with homework." Hey, let's go get your mom on this, because I want you to pass. So let's go get your mom on this because we're gonna be up here Googling, YouTube. Like one time, my son came to me with like something with just a graph paper and some letters and arrows, and I'm like, yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. Let's go get your mom because she can handle this, because I'm just seeing graph paper and letters and arrows. I don't even know where to start with this, man. Let's go get your mom on this.
I am the stereotypical Black parent. I haven't helped my daughter with her homework since the 4th grade. And it was because one of those things. She had the math sheet with the math problems. Yeah. She did the math work. She came to me. I said, and I'm just making it simple because I don't remember what it was. I was like, 4 plus 4 is not 9. It's 1 less than 9.
Mm-hmm.
10? No. And again, what happens, the more she gets the wrong answer, the more she's nervous, the more she's scared. Then she starts crying. Then I'm just furious. And she's looking at me with fear in her heart, like 7, 3. I'm just like, you got to put like, you can't be this dumb. You know the answer. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I know that you don't know, and I should know better. But the rage in my heart and the fact that you got to deal with me, her mother, the teacher, I said, look, we're gonna let your mom deal with it. She's got the patience. She teaches kids your age, and it has worked out tremendously.
Yeah, because my wife even homeschooled our kids until they were in 8th grade. So they were, that's all up her alley, man. She was cool.
See, I never met her, never even really talked to her, but I got the feeling. I knew 90% was a good number. See, I knew something was going on. Something was
yeah, man. She's amazing, dude. Yeah, she like, yeah, I'm gonna homeschool the kids. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Hey, she did it though. I mean, it was awesome. Really good experience though.
And what was she doing at the time? Like, was she ever a teacher or school or anything? Like, what was she doing for?
No,
you guys were going to school together. What was her major?
Her major was nursing. So when she first moved up here, she was working at Planned Parenthood, and working there. And then once I signed my second contract, then that was it. And then she was a stay at home. And then once we had our kids, she started homeschooling them until they got up to 8th grade, and then we moved them on, transitioned them into high school.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's amazing.
I see the nice backdrop you going on over there. What you got planned going on over there? What you trying to do? What's going on?
Oh, what's that? Oh, my game balls?
Yeah, I see a nice backdrop. I feel like, I feel like you should be out here giving your voice to the people. You know what I mean?
Well, these are all my game balls. You know how hard it is to get one of these as an offensive lineman? It's very hard to get one of these as an offensive lineman.
I assume you stole them out of the locker room. I assume that somebody.
No. You see, all of them have my name on them. Like Big Red had to say, hey, this is player of the game, Tra Thomas. So yeah, you know how hard it is to get that, because if I got a game ball, then that means that Westbrook probably ran for 200 yards.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So for them to say, all right, you know what? Hey, we're gonna look over this massive run game that Westbrook had, and we're gonna give it to the offensive line. That's huge, man. So that's why I make sure. My mom came up here one day and took one of my game balls. I flew back to DeLand, Florida, saw my game ball sitting on the side. I need that game ball. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mom, because those don't come by easily for an offensive lineman. So I need that.
I would tell you it's hard earned. And just one more shout out to my buddy Thomas. Westbrook's 2 greatest seasons were running behind Thomas when he was fully healthy as a fullback. So, it is a team sport, and those big plays, we call them, my friend group, whenever he break over a big run, we used to call him West Cookie. We'd have chocolate chip cookies. We'd just be waiting for him to get over 7 yards, and we just eat cookies. West Cookie! Like, it was, he never heard it. He doesn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where, again, the joy that, sports have, and the ups and downs and going together. So, yeah, you earn those balls because you was out there blocking and doing your thing. Minus Simeon Rice every once in a blue, you know what I mean? But you was out there dominating for over a decade, and it's appreciated. And you deserve that backdrop over there. And you also deserve to be out here talking sports and give me some analysts and some breakdowns and stuff like that. We got to get you back out here, chopping it up.
Oh, it's coming soon. I'm breaking down a lot of film now, so I got a couple things that I'm going to be working on and pushing out there. So, yeah, we getting back into the fold.
Good. I will update the show notes here for my hundreds and hundreds of listeners, soon to be thousands and thousands again. I took some time off too, so I know what it's like getting back into the groove. I just know that you need to be out there because, again, I've always enjoyed listening to you, and especially breaking down the game and stuff like that. Like I said, best ad read guy in the business out here, keeping it fun, keeping it light for everybody out here in these streets. Is there anything else you want to plug? I'm going to put the wife's paint and sip down there in the comments for people to check out locally in Cherry Hill.
Pinot's Palette.
Get their Bob Ross on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So by now, like I said, my cousin and I, we were cool. we family, you know what I mean? He didn't log off on me. I didn't ask him to borrow no money, you know what I mean? I'm a responsible family member, you know what I mean? I got my own. I just might call on you from time to time to chop up. I really appreciate you coming on and sitting here talking with me. Make sure you check out the park if you ever visited down in Florida. Apparently, we got our own parks down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, we got our own park down there, man. With my name on it.
Hey,
Tra Thomas Park. Hey. You can go get you some horseshoes. You can go play some horseshoes, man. Shoot some hoops. Every Sunday they usually have. Everybody just. It's one of them parks where everybody just be at on Sundays.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just ain't nothing there. Somebody with a boom box. You got a speaker set and a grill, and then you got a couple horseshoe pits. And then, it's a party.
And you ain't got to worry about nothing because you just telling you with the Thomases because it's hood adjacent.
Yeah. It's just tell them, I'm here to see the Thomases. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be good to go. My name is Untitled Doctor. Click to subscribe. Do all the things that you want to do or don't. I don't care. I understand you got things to do in your life, but I appreciate you sitting here listening to us chop it up. I hope you enjoyed this show. Again, thank you, William Thomas the third /Junior /Trey /Day I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the time.
Anytime, my brother. Take care. Have a good one.